Hello everybody, welcome to another this is going to be a different episode tonight on Distilled, Brewed, and Reviewed, where I do everything that has anything to do with alcohol, and I do coffee reviews, and all I'm going to say is just check out the playlist. It's amazing. It is unbelievable. I want to get into this right away. Alright. Former mafia boss Michael Franzese targets international expansion for his wine brand. That's what we've been doing tonight. I have a few of these wines that were sent to me by a friend of mine, Tom. Tom loves the channel. He supports it. He sent me some stuff in the past. He's actually somebody I went to high school with. Beautiful thing. All right, check out these wines. So, Michael Franzese wines. He's got a fingerprint because he did time in prison. This is his Malbec. It's got a little story. What I'm going to do, I'm going to review it, but I'm going to read. It's a very interesting story, these wines. So let's get it. Can't ignore the story of these wines because it's kind of what makes it kind of cool. All right. Now, and as I'm doing it, I'm going to be tasting the wine and pontificating upon it. So this is Malbec. And you're going to find out where it's from here in a second. Okay. Franzese was known as the Yuppie Don in the 1980s after rising to the rank of caporagim in the Colombo crime family. I might have said that wrong. Fortune magazine placed him in number 18 in its 50 biggest mafia bosses list, and he gained a reputation as one of the mob's biggest earners since Al Capone. He was portrayed by Joseph Bono in Goodfellas. How interesting is this? All right. Franzese became a born-again Christian during a lengthy prison sentence for racketeering, and he managed to walk away from the mafia without going into protective custody. He is now a motivational speaker and author living in California with his wife and 7 children. He runs a mentorship site called The Inner Circle, and one of his mentors approached him with a plan to create a wine brand. That's what we're getting into here. Franzese wine was born. There are currently 3 wines in the range: a Malbec, a white made from indigenous Cangown grape, that's cool, and a fortified port style wine. But another 5 varieties will soon be rolled out. The team has already secured a U.S. distribution deal with, that's not too interesting. Now, but that gives you an idea of who he is and what's going on here. And let's taste it, and I'll read some more about this. As far as the structure goes, it has nice acidity. Really feel it watering my mouth. So I'd say what they call medium plus on the acidity. The tannin, the grippy part, the part that tastes like a tea that is too strong, kind of dries out your mouth. I'd say that is medium. With a nice balance of fruit, which we'll get into here in a second. Franzese's grandfather immigrated to Naples, or from Naples to New York in 1902. He made his own wines, which would feature at family occasions. I am Italian. Many of my family and family friends of my parents made wine and would bring it to dinners that we held, would have it at dinners that they held, Christmas and all. They would bring their wines. Very proud of them. That's very, or at least was, a very popular thing amongst Italian Americans. His father, Sonny, was an underboss of the Colombo crime family, but he was sentenced to 50 years in prison for bank robbery in 1967. Franzese responded by dropping out of college to help his family earn money. And he proved to be a remarkably successful. He claimed that at the height of his career, he was generating up to $8 million per week from various criminal activities. A lot of what they call dark fruits in here. So, I hate to say this because people don't know. If you've ever had cassis, and the best way to have that, in my opinion, is to get a liqueur, a cassis liqueur. And this way you can taste and see what that tastes like. That flavor is in here. Along with a rich plum. We'll let that sit a little bit, pour a little more. There was always a wine at every dinner, every banquet, says Franzese. Every time we went out, there was always a bottle of wine or two. Yes. We all indulged in it. I didn't really acquire a taste for it as much as I did in later life, but we always enjoyed it, and we didn't have dinner without a bottle of wine ever. It was very customary. Yes. We never had dinner with the extended family or any friends or anything like that that didn't have wine, ever. Sometimes just the immediate family having a quick dinner, there wasn't wine. But never did we have something, with the cousins or anything like that, or the neighbor, anything like that, that didn't include wine. And most of the dinners did include wine. Even, when I was little, my parents would have wine. Let me see. Okay. Just about every meeting that we had, which could have been a critical meeting at some point in time, there was always a bottle of wine to calm things down in case tempers started to flare and things start to get out of hand. We always say, have a glass of wine. Let's calm things down a little bit, all right? Everything's okay. Wine also played a more subtle role in Colombo family sit-downs. Whenever we had a meeting with people we didn't know or people we were unsure of, there was always a bottle of wine or two or three on the table. And if there was somebody questionable at the meeting that we as a group didn't want to talk in front of, we'd pour the wine the right way, and when we got to that person, we'd do it a different way, and everybody would observe that, be observant of that. We would know that we needed to stop talking in front of that person, and the whole conversation would change. It was always with a bottle of wine. So wine has played a significant role in my former life in some very critical meetings. Okay. Let's see if this thing's developing. And we're going to find out where this wine comes from and why he chose the place it came from and the significance of the place it came from. And it's really significant, it really is. So, cassis, plum. That's the big things in here. Black cherry. Fruit board, but on the backside, a kiss of earthiness. From New York to Armenia. You ever have a wine from Armenia? Italy would have been the obvious choice when Franzese decided to get into the wine business, but he was inspired by Armenia's history. Okay, pour a little more wine. Armenia is certainly one of the world's oldest wine regions. Archaeologists have discovered a wine press and fermentation jars dating back 6,000 years in Armenian caves. Franzese's partner has been producing wine there for over 25 years, so there is a mature operation behind the brand. It was a young member of the Armenian family who Franzese mentors and that convinced him to lend his name to the brand. There it is. This young man has been following me since he was 10. He's now 23. When he approached me about this, I was so attracted to his integrity and work ethic that I said, if I'm going to go into business with somebody, this is the young man I should be with. We went through the whole process of tasting the wine, researching his family history, and it all came up roses, so I decided to allow him to take my brand to market. His wife, Camille Garcia, is passionate about wine. Franzese described her as almost a sommelier, thanks to her in-depth knowledge. We got involved in the wine tasting. I leave that mostly to my wife and my daughters, who have a better taste than I do in fine wine. We've had several people taste them and we're happy with it. I am making connections with distributors, speaking to various restaurants, and putting my partner in touch with contacts. We are now expanding in the UK, and we are working with some other relationships around the world. Everyone that has tasted the wine so far has enjoyed it, and there's no better way to sell it than to let them try it. Still same flavors coming through. Hasn't changed since been doing this. It's getting some air now. All right. We'll just finish it up. One of the strongest points was being able to relate with people, whether they're in the boardroom or in prison garments. It doesn't matter to me. So I just enjoy it, and people enjoy the conversation, so we get to the door, and from that point on, they gotta love the product. Will any of these former associates be drinking Franzese wines at future sit-downs? I've had some guys calling me on it, and of course, they want free samples. Yeah, they're going to drink it. All right. Thought it was interesting. I appreciate Tom sending it to me. It's an easy drinker. I think if you aerate this, let it sit for a while, it will soften up the tannins, which I said weren't too bad. Starting to get a little more, I'm noticing being a little more grippy now. So, now it's well balanced because you got the acid, you got the tannins coming up, and you got the fruit. It's very fruit. I love the fruitiness. The after taste is that nice drying out of this nice dry red. Now, with any type of fat food with fat in those tannins, it'll coat your tongue, and you really won't taste the tannins. That's why food goes with wine. This one, though, is so what I call soft and fruit forward, especially with some aeration, that I can sip this one without food. This red Malbec without food. Malbec, of course, is big in Argentina. It's kind of their national grape. So Argentina and Armenia, it's huge. It's cool having a wine from the Mount Ararat area. I do like the label, and that's raised. That fingerprint. It's kind of cool, going with the theme. 12% alcohol. All right, well, that's it. Very interesting. Thanks, Tom. I'm going to do a white with a native grape from Armenia. You don't want to miss that because that's pretty cool. And I'll see you all in the next one.